You see, back in the old days, what we used to do is we used to go to the pantry full of all the old crap that we didn't use in the year. Things like spoiled soup, bits of sauces that have gone off, that pasta dish that you bought for your kids but no one wanted to eat, cans of spaghetti. And we used to throw them all into the HDH bucket, the big HDH bucket for your swimming pool, and then we'd give it to the domestic worker. And at some point in time, some supermarket thought to themselves, I've got a great idea. Why don't we make this as a commercial product? We can stick it on the market and sell it to people. I don't know about you, Ramon. I find the mere concept of these buckets really insulting.
I actually asked my housekeeper once, do you want a bucket from Pick and Pay for Christmas? And she's like, I won't repeat what she says because it was quite racist, but she says basically she's not from Lesotho, so she doesn't want it.
So the problem for me is you got to look at the contents of these things, right? I mean, there's always that tinned baked beans that nobody in your house wanted to eat anyway, and it's little shapes of tomato cubes. I don't know what you're going to do with these tomato cubes, or they give you loads of sauces for food that, let's face it, nobody in a rural location is ever going to eat. And then they stick them all in a bucket, and they're like, oh yeah, I've got a great idea. Let's give these to people. There's some Oros in there, because that's clearly what they want, right? There's some Mari biscuits that are a little bit old, and probably a bit beyond their sell-by date, but that's cool, they'll eat that. I just think the whole concept of the bucket, man, it's an HDH bucket. And this year, Pick and Pay stretched it a little bit further. They clearly ran out of HDH buckets, so what they've now done is they've gone to Dulux buckets. Because Dulux clearly isn't selling that much paint this year, and so they've got all these extra buckets, and they're now using them for the Christmas gift hampers. 99 Rand special. Why don't you take the 99 Rand and buy your domestic worker something actually useful?
Well, I don't know what you've been looking at, but there are buckets now for $2.50, right? And those buckets have a lot more stuff in them than the 99 Rand bucket. But I tend to agree. I think this sort of stuff is pretty demeaning, especially to sort of blacks, right? Our fellow countrymen. It feels like, Pick and Pay thinks to itself, we've got excess stock, let's just put in a bucket and sell it. It's a great sort of capitalistic enterprise, but at the end of the day, it is something that leaves me feeling a little bit, what the term I would use, makes me feel sad that people think this is actually a gift worth buying. I know for a fact, as I said, my housekeeper refuses to have these sort of things, but I don't know. Maybe there are some people out there that really love this stuff, Byron, and here we judge, really.
I've had this conversation with so many people, and they always just sit there going, oh, but my domestic worker loves these buckets. It's such a great thing. They can use, the bucket afterwards to carry water on their head and everything. And I'm like, do you even hear yourself talking, dude? This sounds like the stupidest, dumbest, racist idea I've ever come across. Fucking bucket for water. Fuck off, dude. Literally, it's not even food that the majority of domestic workers would eat. If you actually look at a rural diet, this isn't it. Serious. Go use the money. Don't demean your domestic worker by buying some stupid off-cost HDH bucket with off-stock. Use the money and buy them some flowers, some chocolates, and maybe some new clothes. That'd be a great gift for Christmas. But these buckets, Pick and Pay, Spar, all the rest of you, shame on you for selling this cuck.
So what did you get your staff for Christmas? I happen to get gas stoves. I'm trying to go with grid as much as possible. So I've banned electric cookers and electric stoves and everything electric, and everything's gas. And it seems to be working rather well. I mean, a gas stove, the small one's $300. It's basically the price of 3 buckets anyway. But it will last, much longer than a few Mari biscuits and Oros. So if you had to have a monetary recommendation for domestic workers' Christmas gifts, what would you recommend? Other than wine and chocolates, it's not your wife, it's your staff.